The ripples of the Supreme Court judgment over Imo State governorship seat continues to generate controversies as parties share varying opinions on the outcome. Tonight, we dissect the issues on the legality and the implications of the Apex Court verdict. And the director in charge of operations at the NDDC, Dr. Carol Dubro, says there have been over 1 trillion fraudulent projects lined up in the last 3 years at the NDDC. He says, if not for Buhari, the commission would have died. Hello everyone and welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Okimbaloye. Let's begin quickly tonight by bringing you up to speed about some court-related stories that we are following for you right here on Channels Television. Let's begin with the story of the former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, who was challenged a move by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to introduce a new witness in the ongoing 2.2 billion naira fraud trial against him and a firm, Spotless Investment Limited. On February the 17th, the court will rule on whether the witness, Mr. Johnson Abidakun, the head of operations at the Zenith Bank at Ekiti branch, can testify in the trial. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission had brought Abidakun in to replace a bullion van driver with Zenith Bank at Ekiti branch, Adewale Aladegbola, who had earlier testified in the case. The prosecuting counsel, Rotimi Jacobs, SAN, had alleged that the testimony given by the bullion van driver was different from the statement he wrote at the EFCC's office during the investigation of the case. Jacobs alleged that Fayose had gone behind to compromise the witness by threatening him. But the defense counsel, Olalani Peku and Olaleko Ojo, opposed the prosecution's move, describing it as an abuse of court processes. And this other case is about another former governor, this time around from Delta State, James Onane-Feibori. A British prosecutor is reported to have launched a fresh attempt to confiscate funds stolen, allegedly from Nigeria, by a former governor of Delta State, Mr. James Ibori. Mr. Ibori pleaded guilty at London's Southwark Crown Court in 2012 to 10 counts of fraud and money laundering and was jailed for 13 years. He was, however, released from jail in December 2016, after which he returned to Nigeria, having served half of his sentence in pre- and post-trial detention. According to Reuters prosecution counsel Jonathan Keane-Ard, today restarted the process at Southwark and began listing assets that Britain seeks to confiscate from Ibori and return to Nigeria. So much to talk about and some other stories we're following for you that you need to know. Check them out on our political roundup.
President Muhammadu Buhari says his administration will sustain efforts at ending child marriage and improving girl-child education. The president was speaking at the commissioning ceremony of the headquarters of the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs in Abuja. The occasion drew women from across the country, bringing to the front burner the many factors stunting the development of women in the country, including sexual abuse. Ahead of the Edo State 2020 governorship elections, 4 aspirants have expressed their confidence in the newly constituted Senator Ahmed Lawan-led Reconciliation Committee to resolve the crisis rocking the party in the state. The aspirant, joined by other chieftains at a press conference in Benin City, the Edo State capital, also condemned the recent upsurge of political violence among members of the APC in Edo State, stressing the need for all to respect party supremacy. The national chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, Mr. Victor Oye, has discontinued the civil action filed against Mr. Edozie Njoku, who claims to be the newly elected chairman of the party, on the grounds that the party is exploring the option of amicable resolution. At the resumed hearing of the suit, the lawyer to the national chairman, Mr. Victor Agbunze, informed the court that after due consultation with relevant stakeholders, Mr. Victor Oye instructed him to discontinue the suit in the overall interest of the party. The lawyer to the defendant did not oppose the application for discontinuance. Justice Agbaza subsequently struck out the suit. A court sitting in Lokoja, the Kogi state capital, has fixed ruling for February the 27th, 2020 on the matter brought before the court on whether the removal of Elder Simon Achuba as deputy governor and the subsequent nomination of Chief Edward Onoja for the position followed due process. The court reserved judgment for February after listening to the counsel of the claimant and the defendants. The Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule has reiterated his resolve to improve the welfare of civil servants in the state. He made the comment while inaugurating a committee on the implementation of promotions and salary arrears at the Government House in Lafia.
And to our main conversation tonight is about Imo State governorship tussle. Well, it's out of the court now. Well, the newly sworn-in governor, Senator Hope Uzodinma, has resumed office. Senator Uzodinma arrives at the Government House earlier today with closed aides and new faces at the office of the governor for his fourth day in office. The governor of Imo State is promising to run an all-inclusive government, irrespective of party affiliation, religion or ethnicity. Well, the chairman of the PDP, that is the nation's main ruling party, Mr. Uche Secondus, has been reacting to the judgment. He held a press conference earlier today in Abuja. Well, at some point we'll bring you those some of the things that Uche Secondus said at a press conference. Well, the chieftain of the All Progressive Congress and Minister of State for Labor and Productivity, Mr. Festus Keyamo, has reacted to the statement issued by the main opposition PDP over the Supreme Court ruling on Imo State governorship election. We sacked the former governor, Emeka Ihedioha, of the PDP and declaring Hope Uzodinma of the APC as winner. Mr. Keyamo, who spoke to journalists on the sideline of an event in Ueli, Delta State, says the opposition are not being objective with their reaction because this particular ruling, according to him, is not in favor of the party. Take a listen to him.
So the same court that gave them victories and excluded us entirely in Rivers State, excluded entirely in Zamfara State, is that the same kangaroo court? How can Democrats come up and make such statements, such very inciting statements? We have an opposition that's a very unserious opposition, an opposition that's not ready to take, but they are ready to give. An opposition that takes the benefit from the system, from a particular institution, and they don't want to take the downs from that same institution. I think it's an irresponsible statement. It doesn't even deserve a response, and they need to apologize to Nigerians and to the Supreme Court. They need to apologize if they didn't make that kind of statement. It's extremely provocative.
Thank you very much.
Yes.